Good morning, third graders. Today is Thursday, April 30th, 2020. And our math objective for today is to be able to recognize equivalent fractions using fraction strips. So yesterday we talked about how equivalent is a fancy word that means the same or equal to. So equivalent fractions that are equal to each other. That's what we're going to be looking at today. So on our to-do list, we have to watch this whole video. Make sure you watch the whole thing. Practice finding equivalent fractions, and then you're going to go off and complete your exit ticket. Make sure as you watch this video, you have a piece of paper and something to write with. You will need both to draw the fraction strips along with me in order to complete this lesson today. So if you don't have those, go ahead and pause the video now, get those things, and then come back when you're ready. So let's start with our parts of a fraction. We learned that every fraction has two parts, a numerator and a denominator. The numerator is always on the top and it tells the number of pieces being counted. So in this particular fraction, 5 pieces are being counted. Then you have the denominator, which is always on the bottom. Denominator is down on the bottom. And it tells us the total number of pieces of whatever we're counting. So the total number of pieces of pie, the total number of pieces of chocolate. And in this case, it would be 6. So we would have 5 that were being taken away or counted over 6 total pieces for this fraction. Okay, so here I have one whole. This is my fraction strip. I want you to think, how many pieces would I partition or break my whole into if I wanted to break it into halves? How many pieces would I have? You're right, I would have 2 pieces. So here's my fraction strip broken into 2 pieces. So I have 1/2 here and 1/2 here. Go ahead and pause the video and draw this on your paper and then press play when you're ready. Okay, so now I want to draw another fraction strip, but I want to partition it into fourths. So how many equal pieces do I have if I'm partitioning it into fourths? Right, I have 4. So here's my another fraction strip that I have that's partitioned into fourths. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 fourths. Go ahead and draw that on your paper now. Pause the video if you need to. All right, now I'm going to have one more fraction strip, and I'm going to partition this one into eighths. So if I partition this one into eighths, I have, right, 8 equal parts. So here's my fraction strip broken into eighths or 8 equal parts. Here we go. So now, looking at my fraction strips, I'm going to take and I'm going to look at this one that's partitioned into halves, and I'm going to color in one of my halves. So I'm going to take and color in all of this, one of my halves. Now, after I color in one of my halves, and you should be doing this on your paper too. After I have it all colored in, I want you to think to yourself, how many fourths, so looking at this fraction strip here, how many fourths would I need to color in to match the size of my 1/2 piece that I've just colored in? So think, how many fourths, this one in the middle, would I need to color in to match this 1/2 piece that I just colored in? I want them to be the same size. Go ahead and do that on your paper and come back once you've done it. So if I wanted to match this 1/2 piece, if I color just 1/4, it's not the same size as my 1/2 piece. So I'm going to go ahead and color this one in, and then I'm going to color in the one next to it too. So how many fourths did I need to color in to get a piece that was the same size as 1/2? Right, so I have 1/2 here. Is the same as or equivalent to how many fourths? Right, 2 fourths. So if I color in 2 fourths, I get a piece of my fraction that's the same size as 1/2. So now let's look at 1/2 2/4, and look at eighths. How many eighths do I need to color in to equal the same size piece as my 1/2 and my 2/4? All right, so let's go ahead and color them in. If I color in this 1/8 piece, is it the same as my 1/2 and my 2/4? No, so I'm going to go ahead and color in another piece. Do I have a piece of this fraction strip that's the same as my 1/2 or my 2/4? Nope, so I'm going to color in another piece. I have 3/8 colored in now, and I still don't have a piece of the fraction that's the same as 1/2 or 2/4, so I'm going to color in another one. Now, are all my eighths the same size as my 1/2 and my 2/4? How many eighths did I need to color in order to get one that was the same size as 1/2 and 2/4? Right. So 1/2 is equivalent to 2/4, and 1/2 and 2/4 is equivalent to 4/8. So equivalent means the same as. So that means if I color in 1/2, I can color in 2/4 and 4/8 to get the same size piece. So let's look at another one. Go ahead and pause the video here and make sure you draw your one whole, and then your one whole broken up into thirds, and your one whole broken up into 6. So 3 pieces here and 6 pieces here. Pause if you need to and come back when you're ready. Okay, so here we're going to color in 1/3. So how many pieces do I need to color in if I'm coloring in 1/3? Right, 1 piece. So I'm going to color in 1 piece, and you should be coloring it on your paper too. Once you've colored in 1/3, I want you on your own to color in the number of 1/6 pieces that you need to be equivalent to your 1/3 piece. So remember, you want your 1/6 pieces to be the same size as this 1/3 that you colored in. So pause it, do that, and come back. Okay, so now I have another color, and I'm going to color in one of my 1/6 pieces. Looking at my 1/6 piece that I've colored in, and my 1/3 piece that I've colored in, are they the same size? Nope, so I need to color in another piece. So color, 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 color. Color, color, color. Is it the same size now? Right, so I can say that this 1/3 piece is equivalent or equal to how many 6? 2 6, because I colored in 1 shaded 6 here, 1 shaded 6 here. So 1/3 is equivalent to or the same as 2 6. Okay, so let's pause here and take. Okay, so we're going to do one more, but I want you to do it on your own. On your piece of paper, I want you to shade 2/3 and then tell me 2/3 is equivalent to how many 6. So on your paper, do that and come back when you're ready. Okay, so on your paper, you should have colored in 2 of the 1/3 boxes, so 1 here and 1 here. And down here, in order to get a fraction with 1/6 that was the same size as 2/3, you should have colored in 1, 2, 3, 4 1/6 boxes. So we can say that 2/3 is equivalent to 4 6. Okay, so before we get started with going over the exit ticket, right now, I hope you're listening closely. Your word of the day is magnificent. Magnificent is your word of the day. Don't forget to record it on your exit ticket. Okay, so on your exit ticket, it says each one of these fraction strips represents a whole, and they are both the same size. So we're going to use this fraction strip up here to answer this question here. So it says 1/2 is equivalent to, so I need you to tell me 1/2 piece is equivalent to how many fourths pieces? How many fourths pieces do we need to get the same size piece as 1/2? Remember, equivalent just means the same as. And then down here, you're going to do the same thing, but it's asking you 3/6 is equivalent to what? So if I have 3 of these 6 pieces, what is it equivalent to? How many halves? And then your last question is a true or false question. And you're going to need to look at both of these fraction strips as you do it. It says 2/4 is equivalent to 3/6. So looking at the fourths up here and the 6 down here, is this true or false? If I have 2/4 pieces and 3 1/6 pieces, am I going to have the same size piece? Yes or no? So true or false? Once you've done that and you've submitted, I hope you have a great day, third graders.